On a Monday morning. It is May, excuse me, the 2nd. I'm first morning meteorologist Eric Burris. Nice start to the day across Central Florida. Top two things we're watching, pretty much identical as yesterday because it's Monday, and that just means that we're kind of in the exact same setup. The summer's preview is here. The weather's absolutely beautiful, but yeah, that heat is building. We're going to be talking about that this morning, and just like we did yesterday, it's the final countdown. Hurricane season right around the corner. And of course, we continue to monitor the long-range weather patterns, and we'll have all of those details for you. But first, let's look outside live with our Tower Cam network. And this is a shot over at the Kennedy Space Center, a mix of clouds and sunshine. A nice start to our Monday morning. Thankfully, no rainfall showing up out here right now. We look at temperatures across the area, and you're in the lower 70s for Brevard County. It's 72 degrees in Orlando, 68 degrees in the Villages, 69 for us in Ocala, and 68 degrees in Palm Coast. So certainly is a nice and quiet start to the day. Our first warning, live Doppler radar, has been showing a few little pockets of shower activity impacting our coastal communities this morning. And as we see right now, kind of the same idea. Most of the shower activity that we're tracking is off the shoreline, but from time to time, some of those showers have been kind of sweeping on through town. Not a big deal, but some of them have been trying to pop around. So as we look to the forecast today, here's what I want you to know. It's going to be a nice one, but like yesterday, it is going to be a warm one. 80 degrees our 11 o'clock temperature, 87 degrees by 1. We'll hit 90, though, I think, this afternoon in Orlando. 20% chance of rain, building to about a 30% chance of rain. And I think that we're going to be talking about late day stuff. So even if it is going to rain in your area, I think for the most part, it's all going to be inland, west, away from the beaches, even west of the metro area for that matter. So not a bad setup at all. John, Nikki, good morning to you. Tina, Frankie, good morning to you. Courtney, Beverly, David, how are y'all? Hope you're doing well. Lisa, good morning to you. Kelly, Linda, good morning. Someone in the chair watching you? No. Aloha to you, Pat. Hope you're doing well. Tiffany, good morning. Haven't seen you in a while. Glad to see you joining us this morning. Kenneth, good morning to you. My goodness. So many comments. I apologize if I'm falling behind this morning. Kim, good morning. Need rain in Deerhaven. Only got 10 drops yesterday. Listen, we got none at my house yesterday, so take what you can get. Chris, good morning. Chris, by the way, audited our forecasts, our monthly forecasts thus far. You know what the grade was? I'll tell you in just a little bit. Let's just get through today's forecast, and then we can get into the long-range stuff. Arnett, good morning to you. Melissa, Kenneth. Oh, I already said good morning to you, Kenneth. Felina, good morning to you. Cheryl, good morning. All right, so we know that there's going to be the opportunity for showers and thunder showers today as we're starting to transition into this summertime-like pattern. We are not in the rainy season yet, though we are certainly trying to tiptoe in that direction, right? Here's a look at high temperatures area-wide, and notice hotter inland, cooler along the coast, lower to mid 80s along our coastal communities, whereas we're in the upper 80s and lower 90s across the interior. So it does look good. I do want to point out, though, that our muggy meter over these next couple of days is building. By midweek, we are into, I don't want to say that it's summer-like humidity, but it's awful close. Once you get to a dew point temperature of 70 degrees, which is what these numbers are, these are not morning lows, these are dew point temperatures. That's why we call it the muggy meter, okay? But once you get to a dew point temperature of about 70 degrees, you're basically in that summer pattern, or at least it feels like that summer pattern. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're making that transition for sure. So again, we're almost there today, but we're not there today. We're going to get there. Just prepare for that is all I'm saying, because you don't have to like take precautions for it, but just know that around the corner is that summertime like humidity. And these are all indicators that while we may not be to the rainy season just yet, we are definitely making that transition. And I think that plays in pretty big, at least in terms of our looking ahead to the month kind of scenario. Now, what about Futurecast? What about rain opportunities? Here's a look. I'll bring it full screen for you. And you can see 8 o'clock this morning, Futurecast is looking mighty fine. Let's take you through time on this, though, okay? 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock, we're doing fine. Right through lunchtime, a mix of clouds and sun. It looks like it's going to be a really nice day. But into the afternoon, there's that East Coast sea breeze, 2:30, 3 o'clock. You can see those clouds developing around DeLand, around Sanford, around St. Cloud. That's the East Coast sea breeze. And while it's mostly dry, it does start to develop some showers around 3:30, 4:30. And then as the East Coast sea breeze moves all the way inland to the west, you can see 6:30, 7 o'clock. That's where we're going to be getting into those rain chances. That's where that higher coverage of rain kind of gets going for our western areas, okay? So not a big deal. I think all said and done, the rain chances are a little lower than we saw yesterday, but they're there. So just keep that in mind, okay? Tiffany says, yeah, sorry, I don't live in Florida anymore. I'm an hour behind you now. Came on because I miss everyone. Well, that's okay. We appreciate you joining us. It's okay that you moved. Hopefully life is treating you well, Tiffany, and we will always enjoy seeing your name pop up. Thank you for hanging with us. Rose, good morning to you. Mary Joanne, good morning to you. Muggy midweek, that is true. Janice says, summer is on its way. I need AC. I said this yesterday. I will say it today. May not be a bad idea to have an air conditioning company come out and look at your unit, one that you trust, just because going into the summer season, what you don't want is a failure. So, for what it's worth. Gene, we need rain in Palm Coast. I know, I need rain in my house too. Let's see here. Pat, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Nick, good morning. 71 muggy in Savannah on our way back from Maine for the summer. Very good. Oh, back to Maine for the summer. Good. Yay. Yeah, I guess it is about time for the snowbirds to head on out, right? Diane says, that doesn't work for me. Reschedule the humidity, please, and any rain. Love these morning meetings. I do too. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Janice says, let's do a rain dance. Well, rain chances are not going to be all that high the next couple of days, but what is going to be trending higher and higher is going to be our afternoon temperatures. We are going to be building in that heat little bit by little bit by little bit. Take a look at the temperature trend these next couple of days. All right, so today, if we hit 90 degrees, that would be, I believe, the 8th time. I think we've already done it now 7 times, including yesterday. But look at your Tuesday and your Wednesday and your Thursday, building that heat for sure. We were talking about this last week on Coffee Talk, how the temperatures this week were going to be into the mid-range of the 90s. There's case in point. We're not to records, right? But we're building that heat higher and higher and higher. So, for what it's worth, just be ready for it. Mercedes says, I hope a hurricane doesn't roll in this month like last time. I don't think we had a hurricane last May, but I get what you're saying. A tropical system? Yeah, well, and there is something of that in our forecast. There is something of there's a tropical things to keep an eye on in our forecast. We talked about it for a couple of months now. So, yeah. Ronald says, my allergies are killing me. I know that. Oh, I know that. Top of the morning to you, Jenny. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Janice, I look forward to Coffee Talk every morning. You guys put a smile on my face so I can face the day. Good morning to you. Tiffany says, Alabama weather is insane with winds and stuff. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. I work with sister station WVTM 13 out there in Birmingham, and they have the exact same radar we have at WESH. And there are times where I'm just like, say, what? What are you doing now? What are you doing now? Diane says, hubby is the AC guy in my house. So summertime means he's MIA. Right. Well, and that's one of those things. Get your system looked at early. That way you have an idea. That way it's like, oh, okay, I need this part. Okay, let's just do it now. Maybe, you can pay it off if you can't afford it right out the gate. But what you don't want is to be in a situation where it's 9 o'clock at night, the house is 95 degrees, right? I don't know. Frank, is he doing his breathing thing? He is, it sounds like, yeah. Which it's funny, that was the same thing that I had after my surgery too, and that thing is terrible. It's pool season. My swim with the kids was delightful yesterday. Pool temp was almost 90 with the solar. There you go. Yeah, mine is nice and warm too. If you plan on getting into the pool today, my friends, it's a great day. It's a great day. The temperature's nice and hot. Those clouds are going to be building. We'll get into a couple of isolated showers and thunder showers, but it's a great pool day. So get inside and enjoy. Seriously. If I didn't have to work, that's what I would love to be doing. Jason, good morning. How are you? Chris, try liquid elderberry extract for allergy problems. You're so funny. You love that stuff. Aaron says, I think the GFS is hinting at something tropical in mid-May. Too far away. Well, we have been talking about this. That's all a part of our hurricane forecast. Yeah, of our hurricane season forecast. Ronald says, everyone needs to get pre-prep now for hurricane season. It's true. Jenny says, born and raised in Bama, their weather is wackadoo. Loved watching James Spann for years. Yeah. Elizabeth, can I get you on YouTube on my TV right now? We do. Coffee Talk is on YouTube. You just have to find, I think it's Eric Burris Weather. I think that's how you can access it. Tammy, my boy got a little too much sun yesterday. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry to hear that. Electric cardio version tomorrow morning. Oh, I'll try to make it on the way to the hospital. John, real life is real life. You do you. We'll be here when you get back, buddy. Okay? All right. Stephanie, can you show us the hurricane forecast for now? Well, of course I can, Stephanie. All right. So we'll get there. Let me just set up the forecast for today and this week, and then we can continue on from there. Okay? All right. So building heat. That's the big theme. Okay? Hottest temperature that we've gotten for the year is 93, and we got that in early May, in early April. But we're forecasting that kind of heat this week. We've already had 7 90-degree days. Today would be the 8th 90-degree day. Keep in mind, we usually have about 106 90-degree days for the year, so we're starting into that cruise control pattern, and we are still 50 days away technically from summer solstice, though we know that meteorological summer starts June 1st. So we're less than a month away from meteorological summer, different than astrological summer. That all said, okay, we are now into the month of May, and I did talk about this a little bit yesterday on Coffee Talk, but I want to elaborate a bit more, and this is where we can transition over to the tropics and our long-range forecast. So what does the month of May look like in Orlando? First day of the month, average high temperature is 86. We got to 90s yesterday. Average high temperature by the end of May is in the 90s. So we're absolutely in that transition period, right? I always say May is the gateway to summer for Central Florida, mainly because this is where we're getting into that rainy season pattern. The average start of the rainy season is May 27th. Earlier some years, later some years, but it's averaged to the end of the month. Tropical systems can form this kind of this time of year, and they do oftentimes, as a matter of fact. Now, I'm not saying that one will this year, but there are 2 features that show up in our long-range forecast, and the models are already kind of chewing on that fat. So for what it's, again, for your own mentality, start preparing for hurricane season, right? Start grabbing those supplies. We always say this time of year, just when you go to the grocery store, add 1 or 2 extra items every single trip. Non-perishable foods. Add to your supply kit, waters, things like that, because you just want to be loading yourself up. And of course, one of the ways that you can have a pretty decent idea on what's going on is using our WESH 2 2022 hurricane season forecast, okay? This is a forecast that we put together and release every March 1st, okay? And then from there, it gives you at least a blueprint of what's to come in the hurricane season. How in the deuces are you able to forecast months and months ahead of time? I used to say that was impossible, but what this is using pattern recognition. It's based on the LRC, the Lezak Recurring Cycle, okay? LRC. We've had Gary Lezak on Coffee Talk. We'll have him on again, okay? The LRC states that yearly weather patterns set up October, November is the time frame for it. Sometimes it's October 10th, sometimes it's October 1st, whatever it is. It's in that vicinity. Kind of somehow correlates to the sunset in the Arctic is what Lezak has stated. I could tell you that their intern Daniel not going to be an intern really because he's moving into his professional career. But intern Daniel, I've got him studying this, and he's been poking holes and trying to chew the fat on it. His goal is to figure out why this starts in October and November. So if he could do that, then, he's certainly smarter than I am. But at any rate, the yearly pattern sets up, and then it loops over and over and over and over and over and over again. Takes about 2 months, and then it loops for 10 months. That's how we've been able to issue monthly forecasts. Case in point for monthly forecasts, here was a look, for example, at my March forecast. Here was a look at my monthly forecast for April. And to that point, it's not perfect. No 7-day forecast is perfect. But for April, we got a 78.6 success rate. For the entire kind of, what we started, what was the first? March, April. So March, was there a February, March? Yeah, there was a okay, so February, March, and April. February, March, and April. We averaged out to a 78.3% accuracy rate. A 78.3% accuracy rate for forecasts that we issued a month ahead of time, okay? That's pretty wild. So, with that said, look at the forecast come May. We're transitioning into hurricane season, summer season, so we're not focusing on any features except those highlighted in our tropical season forecast here because the weather just becomes very seasonal. There are 2 features in the month of May that we have highlighted since March 1st, and we need to review. The first is this upcoming weekend. The northeastern United States should see the October 24th storm system recycle. Let's look at the models. October 24th storm system. Give me one moment. Of course, I have to re-sign in. Hold on a second. All right, so what was that storm system? The October 24th storm system impacted the northeastern United States. And if you look at the models, and this is what's crazy, is if you look at the models, and here, I'll just show them to you. Okay, so this is a look at the GFS. Let me just do this. Timestamp is in the top right corner. The warmer colors that you see there, the reds, the oranges, that's high pressure. That's nice weather. The blues and the greens you're seeing, that's lowered pressure. Okay, so let's just follow this through time. This is the latest. This is the 6Z GFS. All right, watch that storm system there. That's Friday morning, 12Z, 8 a.m. Watch that storm system roll off the shoreline and then kind of hang out in that vicinity and just hang out off the shoreline and then eventually fade. But it develops. It really does get its energy off the shoreline, right? That 9Z, so that's 5 a.m. Sunday morning, May 8th. There it is, fitting into that pattern absolutely perfectly. Again, this is a part of the forecast we issued 2 months ago. Where and when? 2 months ago. Now, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, around the 16th and the 17th, there's the November 6th storm system. The November 6th storm system is what we all called back in the day the Florester. It was this area of low pressure that kind of started forming in the Gulf of Mexico, worked across the peninsula, and then really peaked as it was moving away from Florida and kind of out to sea from there. That was November 6th. When does it cycle back around? It cycles back around mid this month, okay? So we've highlighted Florida as being kind of an impact point. Now, with this new theory that every other cycle is stronger, this would be its weaker cycle. But the 16th and the 17th of May, Florida is going to need to be watching out for, possible tropical activity. Possible. An area of low pressure either way. So let's do this. Let's take and let's zoom the GFS in. This is the raw GFS. What we're looking at is pressures. This is kind of the litmus test, if you will. And let's just go to the very end of the GFS, around the 15th, 16th, 17th. That's the time frame. Okay? So there's that northeastern storm system kind of doing its thing, staying away from us. That's May 11th, May 12th, May 13th, May 14th. That's the 16th. Storm system off the East Coast. You see it? And then kind of developing something over Florida-ish or near Florida-ish, 17th and the 18th. That lines up directly. Now, is that playing out the way that it will, or is that the GFS trying to figure this out? The GFS has been going bonkers back and forth on this. It hasn't figured it out yet. But you're at hour 372 in terms of the model. So you're basically at the end of the GFS's run. But what I'm seeing is lowered pressure around Florida around May 18th. That's right around the time frame, and that's right around the location that we had forecast, okay? So that is the Florester. Yeah, that is the November 6th storm system. And while this will be nothing more than probably hurricane season is right around the corner, just a reminder that the November 6th part of the weather pattern, late July is when that will recycle again, and late July is going to be that peak part of the pattern. That's the one that I think is going to be very vigorous. So late July, we are absolutely going to have to watch this thing cycling through. Okay? There's a lot of information there. I know. Oh, I know. When we look at the hurricane forecast as a whole, the main focal points that we're looking at, hotspot number 1, the Florida Peninsula and coastal Carolinas. And then outside of those, when we look at kind of some secondary hotspots, there's Texas, Louisiana, and then there's kind of the northeastern United States. But the two hotspots, absolutely by far and away this year, the two hotspots are Florida and the coastal Carolinas. All right? A lot there. I know. There's a lot there. Mid-May's on my calendar, Cheryl says. I mean, I'm just telling you. I always tell people to put it in your calendar and date when you put it in your calendar, because that'll give you the ability to know, oh, the weather guy got it completely wrong, or, oh, okay, there's something to this. That's how I tracked it. That's how I got onto this whole thing. Yeah, kind of wild. I tracked it, and yeah, and it played out perfectly. Isn't that wild? Yeah. I heard the same thing, that something may or may not happen. Well, I mean, you know, this time of year, that's just the way that it works, right? Yeah. I've been buying bottled water little by little. That's it. You don't, you know, when we talk about the tropics, you don't have to be wealthy to be prepared. You just have to plan, right? That's all. You just have to plan, because it's when you're in freak out mode that you'll pay $50 for a pallet of water or something. You don't ever want to be in a position where you're acting off emotion. Right? That's the biggest thing. Yeah, just don't call it crazy, Frankie. Exactly. Janice says, bring Gary back, please. Oh, absolutely. Actually, I should text him. Let me text him right now. All right, texted him. Let's see here. Have the Gulf and the Atlantic broke. Did you see, Eric, how they have the Gulf and the Atlantic broken up into boxes? I have no idea, Ronald, what you mean, buddy. Never thought I'd need a tarp in Central Florida until Irma. Now, we always make sure we have 2 or 3 because we have very large split-level roof. Never want to use them again. Well, and, you know, I mean, it's one of those cases where you don't know until you kind of are impacted by it, right? I mean, hurricane season is right around the corner. We know, you know, in Florida, there really is 2 seasons, and that's kind of the joke of it all, right? Because you've got hurricane season for 6 months, and then you've got not hurricane season for 6 months. That's something we said in South Florida a lot. At least up here in Central Florida, we do see some temperature adjustments. But yeah, in South Florida, it's like it's either hurricane season or not. You know, that those are your 2 seasons. You could joke with it and say it's snowbird season versus not snowbird season or what have you. But you know, one indicator that we're getting closer and closer to summer is just by looking at the days getting longer. Sunrise 6:44, sunset at 8:01. I mean, these times are opening up. The days are getting longer, absolutely. And we're starting to get into those showers and those thunder showers every day. That's another indicator. Now, what will be interesting, what dictates the weather pattern shifting from the dry season to the rainy season? Dew points in the 70s every morning. Just look at that 7-day forecast. Those dew points are in the 70s in the mornings. Cold fronts stopping arriving. We did just have a cold front last week, but, there's probably not many more coming. And then daily sea breeze showers and storms. We'll have to watch kind of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's a little frontal action trying to move in, which is why we dry out a smidge. Notice it doesn't turn the temperatures, but it's still a front, still drops the humidity, still drops the moisture. So we're not in the rainy season yet, but we're definitely getting close. We're definitely getting close, yeah. Chris says you had a really bad result for 1 week in April that brought your average down. My impression overall was an amazing prediction run. Thank you, buddy. I'm curious to see what week in April that was so that I can case study that for myself and grow myself, Yeah. I always thought LRC meant long range cast. No, it's funny. You could call it the long range cycling, but it's Lezak's recurring cycle. That's really what it's based off of. Yeah. Keep an eye May 18th. Reminder. We're watching. I will absolutely be watching. My son's 21st birthday is July 26th. Really hoping we don't have a bad storm. July 26th. Let's look. I've got all of the summer calendars done. What I didn't do, if you notice, for the month of June, what I did is I added little pictures of where the hot spot was highlighted. That little map, you can see the little maps there, and I don't even know if they're too small for you to see. I've not added them to the other summer months. So for example, for July, I've just got the information there. July 20th and 21st is the Florista cycling back through, and that is going to be the bigger version of the Florista. So, yeah. That's the bigger version of the Florista. That is when I think we really have to watch. So July 26th, that should be well after the Florista's recycling. But if I was a betting man, I would say mid to late July, like that, the end of like the 15th, 16th, 17th, that weekend, I have a feeling we're going to be watching the tropics bigly. Yeah. Cheryl's asking, how many cycles does a storm or low pressure system have? Different years have different cycle durations. So this year's a long cycle duration, so there are fewer versions of it. Whereas if it's a shorter cycle duration, there will be more versions of it. So it just depends year to year. Debbie, I know you are no hype. My anxiety goes way up. That's why we're here. That's why I'm giving you information now in May and in April and in March so that you prepare and you don't have to freak out. No freaking out. We're all going to be good. Alyssa says we buy a little extra each time we go to the grocery store, put aside for hurricane season. That's it. Just a little bit. Once, twice, 3 times, 4. Each time, just buy a little extra, 1 or 2 things. Add $1 to your grocery bill. Listen, I get it. It's expensive. Go to Aldi and instead of spending, $50, spend $51 or $52. A little bit goes a long way. If you prepare, you prepare. It's very important. Betty says, I started on batteries. C and D ones disappear early. Most lanterns are now C and will last forever, it seems. Yeah, do that. I buy distilled water for my coffee pot, so I have great cardboard boxes with 6 empty gallon containers waiting to be filled before a storm. Anybody want some? I have extra. See? Santa Bruce, always in the giving mood. Yeah, I love it. Is there a hurricane coming? Jacob's asking. Bud, I've literally spent the last 15 minutes talking about the tropics. No, there's no hurricane coming. Are there things in the tropics we may be watching? Yes. But is there a hurricane? No hurricane coming. Okay? No hurricane coming. Nicole, college graduation party May 21st and then Disney the 27th through the 29th. I would say, again, if you look at that, during mid-May, there's a little idea of tropical activity around the 16th, 17th, could slide a little earlier, could slide a little later, but it's in that window. But the end of May, yeah, we're actually looking pretty okay. All right? You're once, twice, 3 times a prepared shopper. Yeah, I get what you're doing. Winnie says Aldi's is fabulous. I love it. It's true. They're great. All right, so 7-day forecast, people. Take a look. Temperatures are getting warmer and warmer. Yeah, 93. 94, 95 is not to be ruled out here Thursday and Friday. Seriously. A couple of storms around, though, these next couple of days, okay? Just be ready for it. We'll be tracking. I'll let you know. All right? All right. Afternoon coffee talk. We are going to talk more about the tropics. We'll have fresh model data to look at rain chances. We'll look at the radar as well and see what's doing at that hour and get you ready for your afternoon commute. All right? Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out. I will see you at 3:30 today for the afternoon coffee talk.